Alright, how is everybody doing today? Back again with another video for you guys and gals. And today we're going to get into the camera test with the rear and front facing cameras on the Pixel 2 XL. So here we are outside in shooting space number 1, and we are out here bright and early today, as y'all can see. And we're going to start by testing out the rear-facing 12 megapixel camera on the Pixel 2 XL. Now, the Pixel 2 XL can record footage in 1080p 30, 1080p 60, and 4K at 30 FPS. Alright, so everything y'all are going to see throughout these camera samples is either going to be in 1080p 30, 60, or 4K at 30 FPS. Starting off here with this first set of samples, this is all going to be recorded at 1080p 30 FPS with no external audio hooked up, because we are not living that dongle lifestyle, y'all. We're not going to do it. I ain't going to do it. Alright, so starting off, let's jump into the testing. Let's start off with the pans. Now, the primary camera on the Pixel 2 XL does use a combination of OIS, optical hardware stabilization, and EIS, electronic stabilization. So please let me know with these pans how the stabilization on the Pixel 2 XL is doing. Alright. That's 2. And that's 3. Let's throw in one more just for good measure. And remember, when you're panning, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Okay? Especially if you're doing it handheld. Now, this is not handheld because I am using a tripod and a smartphone mount just to help a little bit with the stabilization, because your boy hands is super shaky and I didn't want to subject y'all to that. So here we go. We've wrapped up the pans here. Now let's attempt to get into the exposure test, because it's super bright, so it's going to be hard to test the exposure, but let's see how the cameras do nevertheless. So we're going to pan up and out to that tree in the distance there that y'all can see. So starting off, we're going to pan down to the ground here. And what we're looking for when we test the exposure is we want a nice smooth transition from the lighter areas to the darker areas of the image with minimal to no exposure blowout. And if your camera does blow out, we want it to recover as quickly and as evenly as possible. So let's see how the 12 megapixel camera on the Pixel 2 XL does. Let's go. So we're going to do this 3 times. So we're down at the ground, and we're going to pan up and out now. A little bit of exposure blowout there, but it recovered nicely. And that's 1. Coming back down. Going back up. And that's 2. Not bad. Coming back down. Last time. And that's 3. Not bad at all. A little bit of dark on the upswing and a little bit of blowout on the downswing, but overall, pretty good. Alright? Now, the next thing I want to test for y'all is the focus. And because I'm outside early today, we don't have any clouds in the sky. As you can see, it's nice and blue, nice and bright, but let's do this nevertheless. Now, the Pixel 2 XL has continuous autofocus as well as tap to focus, and we're going to test both of them here today in this video. We're going to start off with the continuous autofocus first, and then we're going to do the tap to focus second. So we're going to find 3 focal points here. We're going to use these bushes right here off to our left. We're going to use this pillar off to our right here. And you know what? That sky is so blue and beautiful. We're going to use that sky up there as number 3. And let's see how good the cameras keep everything in focus. And y'all let me know how you think the camera performs down below in the comments. Alright, so let's get started. We're going to cycle through these 3 times, and I'm gonna let y'all know when I think everything is in focus. And this is good because this leaves all the decision making up to the camera itself. So this is a really good representation of how well the cameras are gonna perform if you just use everything in straight auto mode. So here we go. Coming over to the bushes. Looks like it's in focus. Coming over to the pillar. That also looks like it's in focus. And then going up to the sky. Good. That's one. Number 2, bushes. Pillar. And then the sky. A little bit of exposure struggling. I'm seeing that it kind of wants to force everything to a little bit darker tone when it really shouldn't. But not bad. One more time. So that was number 2. Bushes. Pillar. Okay. And sky. Alright. So as y'all can see, we're almost in direct sunlight here. And I noticed that when I focus on the pillar, it exposes properly. But when I go over to the bushes, which are in direct sunlight, it kind of darkens up everything there. And then when I go up to the sky, it darkens everything a little bit more. So definitely struggling with the exposure, but not bad. All right. Now let me adjust my grip, and we're going to do the same test using the tap to focus. So here we go. Tap. Good. And that focus was quick. But even better is, you see how once I tapped on the focal point, it adjusted properly for the lighting? Sorry, y'all. It adjusted properly for the lighting. That is the correct color and visual representation of the image. That's how bright the actual image is. And that focusing was super fast. All right. So that's one. Let's go over to the pillar here. Tap. Super fast. Locked it up. Boom. And then lastly, let's go up to the sky here. Tap. Locked it up. Boom. Really fast. Tap to focus. Really good stuff there. And another thing that I like is as soon as you tap on a subject, it locks in the exposure, but you can adjust the exposure, you can lock the focus, you can lock the exposure, and you can adjust the zoom. So really good stuff there. So tapping on the bushes again, locked up within a fraction of a second. Coming over to the pillar, again, locked up within a fraction of a second. Really fast tap to focus speeds, I like that. And then going up to the sky, boom, really fast tap to focus, nice stuff there. Last time, let's go. Bushes, tap, locked up. Pillar, tap, locked up. And then sky, tap, locked up. Good stuff there, good stuff indeed. And then as I said, let me just demonstrate for y'all. If I tap back on the bushes, you'll see an exposure wheel come up across the top. And you can adjust the exposure, you can make the image darker, you can make the image lighter, and you can lock in the exposure and the focus by hitting the lock that pops up on the upper left-hand side, okay? So now I have the exposure and the focus locked, okay? And then if I want to do the zoom, I can either pinch the zoom, and then the zoom bubble will pop up, and we can go all the way up to 5 times. Or I can set up my volume rockers on my device to control the zoom. So there's a few different ways that you can control the zooming on your device. And I actually like how Google has set up the interface here. It's really clean and really straightforward. All right. And it most importantly doesn't take you outside of your composition window. So good stuff there. And we also have the ability to snap photos while in video as well. So we can take a few snaps here, snap some of the bushes there, snap some of the tree there, boom, snap some of this pillar right here, boom. And I'll throw these up in the photo section of this big video here for y'all to check out. If you didn't check it out first, maybe you jump straight to the video performance. I don't know. But yeah, really good stuff in my opinion. Now let's unlock the exposure. Let's unlock the focus. Boom, boom. Let's zoom it back out a little bit. Boom. And now, the last part of this test, I want to do a zooming test for y'all. Now, one of the reasons why I like to do zooming tests so much, because to me, I feel as though the zoom test is the ultimate test for a camera. Because not only does it test the detail retention, but it also tests the overall stabilization. Because as y'all know, because I've said this in a bunch of my camera videos, unless you have a smart camera or a smart device with a dedicated telephoto sensor or camera on the back or a dedicated zoom sensor, then what you're doing when you zoom in with your smart device is you're just digitally cropping the image. And when you digitally crop the image, after a certain point, all the detail is gone. So testing out the zoom is a perfect example of how much detail and stabilization the device can retain. All right, and even more important is the stabilization, because as you zoom in and it crops the image, all the minute movements from your hand or your stabilizer or whatever you decide to use are magnified. Okay, so that's one of the reasons why I like to do the zoom and stabilization test. All right, so let's get started. There is a house with a very nice tree over there in the distance. Let's lock on that. Let's lock the exposure. Let's lock the focus. Let me dial it in just a little bit. Bam, that's looking good. So right now, as with the rest of this video, we have no zoom on. So this is literally set to 1x zoom. Now, as I said, you can use the pinch to zoom. Okay, so we could pinch all the way in, or we could pinch all the way out, or you can use your volume rockers to zoom in 0.4 increments here. Okay, so voluming down, we're at 1x, voluming up 1.4x, voluming up 1.8x, voluming up 2.5x, so on and so forth. So you decide how you want to control the zoom. I'm a big fan of controlling the zoom with the volume rockers, but it doesn't give me the precise increments that I like to test. So we're actually going to use the pinch to zoom here. So first we're going to go up to 1.5x zoom. Okay. And here you go, 1.5x zoom. Now another thing that I like that Google has decided to do is that your zoom bubble or ball stays up on the screen till you tap another focus point, and then it goes back to auto. So it will stay there until I adjust it or tap another focal point on the screen. So that's really nice. So I always know what my zoom is at, and I can adjust it accordingly. So this is 1.5x zoom. Okay, good stuff. Now let's go up to 2x zoom. Okay, and this is 2x zoom right here. Now this is the maximum that I always recommend you zoom in with your devices, because this is what I feel is the perfect point of detail retention, color balance, and stabilization. And you're going to see as we zoom in past this point, you're going to see a lot of detail get lost, and the stabilization or micro jitters are going to be magnified, as I said. But if you want to get closer to your subject after zooming into this point, I would just recommend you physically get as close to your subject as possible. But let's keep going just for testing purposes. So let's go up to 2.5x now. So this is 2.5. And look at the grass. Okay, look at that. It's kind of become overblown. It's kind of blotchy. Even in this brighter environment where the detail should be retained. Look at that grass out there in the distance there. Okay, and this is 2.5x zoom. All right, let's keep going. And then pay attention to the micro shake. Now I'm trying to stay as stable as possible, but as I said, your boy got shaky hands, so there's only so much I can do. But let's go up to 3x zoom now. Okay, 3x zoom right here. Now, notice that tree that we're focusing on in the distance. Look how much detail we've lost. Okay, even though we're magnifying the image, look at how much detail is getting lost there. Okay, ooh, my bad. I'm trying to hold it steady. Now let's go up to 3.5x. Boom, 3.5x zoom here. All right, Look at that. And now let's max it out. So let's go up to 5 times zoom. 5 times zoom right there. Oh yeah, that does not look good, at least looking through the viewfinder. Let me know what y'all think. Let's zoom out now. And now we're back to 1 time zoom. Alright, so this was the first test of the rear-facing 12 megapixel primary camera on the Pixel 2 XL. And yet again, this was recorded in 1080p at 30 FPS. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to spin the camera around and we're going to test out the front-facing 8 megapixel sensor, also in 1080p at 30 FPS. So I will be right back. See y'all in a second. Alright, so now what I did real quick is I just went and I grabbed my tripod and my little on-go production kit. I threw everything on the kit just so I can give y'all this example of some stationary vlog style footage. So now we're testing out the front-facing 8 megapixel camera on the Pixel 2 XL, and this is also being recorded in 1080p at 30 FPS with no external microphones hooked up. So let me know what y'all think of this, okay? How is the detail? How's the stabilization? How's the overall audio? Let me know your feedback down below in the comments. Now, I can tell y'all, looking through the viewfinder, this actually looks pretty good. Now, the Pixel kind of wants to make my skin tone a lot more orange than it is. And I noticed that this happens in pretty much every environment. Now, I'm not this orange. I'm actually like a dark burnt caramel kind of color. We're not kind of orange. But the neat thing is that with the Pixel cameras, you can adjust the focus and the exposure for the front and or the rear facing cameras. So y'all can see I can adjust the exposure until it gets the skin tone just right, okay? But it's at the cost of slightly blowing out the background. So that exposure looks good. Let's lock the focus. Let's lock the exposure. So pretty much everything that I can do with the rear-facing camera, I can do with the front-facing camera. With the only caveat being the rear-facing camera maxes out at 4K 30 FPS. The front-facing camera maxes out at 1080p 30 FPS. So can't do 4K with the front-facing 8 megapixel camera as you can with some other sensors on some other devices. You can only do 1080p 30 FPS. Okay, so that is the only caveat with the front-facing 8 megapixel camera on the Pixel 2 XL. Okay, other than that, you don't have any slow motion video recording with the front-facing camera as you do with the rear. With the rear, you have up to 720p, 240 frames per second. With the front, you can't do that. Okay, so those are the only downsides to these cameras, and a few things that I don't like about the interface. But y'all leave a question down below in the comments if y'all want me to tell y'all some of the things that I don't like about the interface. I will answer those questions down below in the comments if you ask them. But other than that, all in all, I have to say in terms of straightforwardness and user friendliness, the cameras and the user interface on the Pixels are pretty good. Alright? So let me know what y'all think of this front-facing test. Now what I want to do is I want to run inside and we're going to redo this test indoors, daytime, low lighting, and nighttime, artificial lighting. Okay? And then this way y'all get a really good representation of how the cameras will potentially perform in these lighting scenarios, at least when it comes to video. Alright? So let me pause real quick. Let's run inside and let's set up the next test. I will be right back. I'll see y'all in a second. Alright, so now we've run inside here and I've fixed the shades so it's kind of angling the light. So this is an indoor daytime low light test, testing out the front and the rear facing cameras on the Pixel 2 XL, and this is also in 1080p 30 FPS. Now we're starting off with the front facing 8 megapixel cameras here, and I just wanted to give y'all a nice vlog style test. So how do y'all feel the front facing camera is performing in this lower light scenario here? Alright, and I'll have some more verification for y'all when we test the rear facing cameras. But looking through the viewfinder, y'all, this doesn't look too bad. The color looks good, the detail looks good, my skin tone looks about right, and the focus looks good as well. And as I demonstrated outside, if there were any issues, I can adjust them in real time using the camera features on the device. So not bad at all. Okay? So real quick, stationary vlog style indoor daytime low light test for the front facing 8 megapixel camera on the Pixel 2 XL. Now let's spin the cameras around and let's do the same test with the rear facing 12 megapixel camera. So I will be right back. Alright, so now we're testing out the rear facing 12 megapixel camera on the Pixel 2 XL. And once again, as I said, this is indoors daytime low light settings here. So y'all can see, I just wanted to give y'all this rear facing sample real quick. We're going to do some rear facing samples. Then I'm going to spin it around and make it a vlog style test to wrap this up. But y'all can see we are indoors and it is indeed low light. The only lighting we have today is from the window here, so y'all can see I've cracked the shades and I've angled it so the best possible amount of light comes through. So y'all can see if I bring the camera over here, it's actually really bright. Well, not too bright, but I get a good amount of lighting here, as y'all can see. Alright, so I just wanted to show y'all that real quick. So now what I want to do is I want to angle everything in a traditional reviewer style approach so y'all can see just how the camera performs. And I gotta hurry up because I just got the low battery warning on the device. So let's do this real quick. So let's pan everything over. We get a little closer here. We open up the tripod and set everything down. And then we'll go ahead and angle everything down. That looks like a really good angle to me. Bam. Alright. So here we go. That looks perfect. So let's do some focusing tests. Again, y'all let me know what you think of the audio, the overall detail, the overall stabilization, so on and so forth. So starting off, let's just do some focusing tests here. So y'all can see, got a few devices on the table, few products on the table. Let's see how the focus does. So picking up the S6 active, bring it in. That does look like it's in focus. Now, because of the lighting, everything looks a little bit more grainier to me. I don't know if that's how it's going to look on the final image. But there you go. Keeping it in focus. Alright. Take it out. Good. Bring it back in. Good. Take it out. Good. Alright, so not bad. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. And you know what? Let me see, because this is looking a little grainy here. And it might get better when I up it to 1080p 60. But yeah, so the focus seems pretty good. Alright, let's do one more device. Now I really like the patterns on the back of the S7 active here. Really good stuff. Now, it looks okay. This is usable. Not bad. Alright, let me know what y'all think. Alright, and lastly, let's go ahead and spin everything around now and give y'all a vlog style test. So we get everything straight on. That looks good. And now let's spin it around. Alright. And let's set it down. And I'm hoping that I'm in the frame. Let's back up a little bit. I feel like I'm a little close. Alright, hopefully this is good. So ending out this video coverage for y'all for this indoor daytime low light test, we just got a nice vlog style test here with the rear facing 12 megapixel camera. Alright, So y'all let me know how you think the Pixel 2 XL performed in this daytime low light test. Now what I'm going to do for y'all is a little bit later on, we're going to redo similar tests in nighttime artificial lighting. Alright? Then a little bit later on this week, we're going to test out the cameras again in 1080p, 60 FPS. And then lastly, probably about Wednesday or Thursday, we're going to test out the cameras again in the big yard in 4K at 30 FPS. Alright? So I'll be right back with the rest of those clips, because what is a couple days for me is instant for y'all. So I'll see y'all in the next test. I'll be right back. So here it is, y'all. This is the last of the 1080p 30 FPS samples with the front and the rear facing cameras on the Pixel 2 XL. This starting clip here, we're testing out the front facing 8 megapixel camera, and this is in nighttime artificial lighting here. Okay, so we're just in my bedroom here, and we got this nice stationary vlog style test here. So let me know what y'all think. How's the detail? How's the focus? How's the exposure? So on and so forth. Alright? I'm going to make this real quick, real brief. Now what I'm going to do is we're going to spin around to the rear facing camera, and we're going to redo a similar test. So I will be right back. Alright everyone, so similar to what we did earlier, in this rear facing 1080p 30 FPS camera sample here, we're going to do some verification, we're going to do some quick focus testing, and then we're going to wrap up the video with a vlog style clip, and then we're going to call it quits for tonight. So here we are, guys and gals, and we're testing out the rear facing primary 12 megapixel camera on the Pixel 2 XL, and this is being recorded in 1080p at 30 FPS with no external audio hooked up, because I refuse to live that dongle lifestyle. I ain't gonna do it. So here we are testing out the cameras in low light artificial lighting here. So it is nighttime. Let me show y'all real quick. If we pan over to the window, y'all can see it is pitch black out there. So it is indeed nighttime. And the only light we have lighting up the scene is my overhead room light here, which is artificial lighting. And I actually don't like this lighting because it makes everything orangey. Everything has that little orange hue to it. I'm not a big fan of it, but it is the lighting we have to work with, so it is what it is. Alright, now let's angle everything up in the traditional reviewer style approach here. And then we're going to do some focus testing. So that looks about straight. And then let's angle down. Let's angle down some more. That looks good. And then let's slide forward a little bit. Alright. That looks good right there. And let's angle this down a little further. Bam. That's perfect right there. Okay? Matter of fact, let me back up just a touch. And then let's level that out. Bam. So that's perfect right there. Let's extend the desk. And here we go. So everything is angled up in the traditional reviewer style approach. So this is what it would look like if I use the rear facing primary 12 megapixel camera on the Pixel 2 XL to record a low light nighttime video for y'all. Okay, and I gotta tell y'all, looking through the viewfinder here, that doesn't look too bad. Like, this is usable. I mean, I don't like the orange hue, but it's usable footage. Okay, now let's just do some quick focus testing here. So let's try and get focused up on the sharp small text on the S7 Active. And that is really good. Not bad, Pixel. Not bad at all. Like, I can clearly read that text, and I like that pattern on the back of the device. Really good stuff. Now let's check the focusing speed. So the phone camera's in focus. Let's take it out. Alright, and the S6 Active is in focus. Let's bring the phone back in. Good. Take it back out. Good. Bring it back in. Good. Not bad. Now let's switch devices and test the focus with a little bit harder texture to expose for and focus on. With that blue and black camo, let's see how the pixel does with this text. Alright, not as good here. It's a lot harder to expose and get the sharpness for darker colors. So you can see the texture on the S6 Active is a little lost. It's a little grainy, but it's still usable. And once again, let's check the focusing speeds. So right now we're focused up on the camera. Let's take it out. Focused up on the desk, bring it back in. Focused up on the camera, a little bit of struggle there. Take it out, not bad. Bring it in, okay. So the focusing speeds and the detail retention in this lower lighting scenario is still pretty good, Now, let's wrap up the test with a vlog style clip here. So let's level everything up. Okay, that looks good. And let's quickly spin everything around. Alright, I think that's straight on. And let me back up a little bit here. Boom. Alright, so here now, we're wrapping up the testing with a real quick vlog style test with the rear facing 12 megapixel camera. And once again, this whole clip has been recorded in low light artificial lighting with the rear facing 12 megapixel camera on the Pixel 2 XL. So if you would like, you can go back and jump to the front facing camera test in the same lighting scenario and then jump back over to the rear facing camera test here and see how the different cameras perform in the same lighting scenarios, and leave your feedback down below in the comments. Let me know what y'all think, how y'all think these cameras are performing. Anyway, that pretty much does it for the 1080p 30 FPS testing. Now what I'm going to do for y'all, and the rest of these tests are going to be with the primary 12 megapixel camera, and it's going to be in 60 FPS and 4K 30 FPS. And I'm not going to use the front facing camera anymore for the rest of these clips because the front facing camera maxes out at 1080p 30 FPS, and there's nothing I could really do to change it to get different recording resolutions for the front facing camera. And the only way I could probably change it is to sideload a third party camera app, but even if I sideloaded a third party camera app, I couldn't get 1080p 60 with the front facing camera, and I can't get 4K with the front facing camera. The most I can do is unlock the 720p 30 FPS recording with the front facing camera, because funnily, I don't even think that's a word. Funny enough, Google has decided to disable the 720p recording, so you have 1080p 30 or 1080p 60 or 4K. So there is no 720p recording with the stock camera app unless you're doing slow motion. So it's kind of weird that Google decided to do that, but it is what it is, okay? So this is the last of the 1080p 30 FPS testing. Now let's move on to some other stuff. Alright, I'll be right back. How's everybody doing today? Back again with another video test for you guys and gals. And today we're testing out the rear facing camera on the Pixel 2 XL. And this is in 1080p at 60 FPS with no external microphone hooked up. So we're going to mix it up a little bit here today. We're going to try and record everything all in one take. And I wanted to start out with some vlog style testing for y'all. So let me know what y'all think of this. So we got a real quick vlog style test with the 12 megapixel rear facing camera on the Pixel 2 XL. Alright, so now let's spin everything around and let's get right into our regular testing. And as always, please leave your feedback down below in the comments. All feedback is greatly appreciated. Let's go. Alright. Okay, so spinning it around, let's go directly into our pan testing. So we're going to pan from here, one edge of the pool there, all the way through to right there, the other edge of the pool. All right, and back, we're gonna do this 3 times. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, let me know what y'all think. Now, one thing I want to reiterate is that the Pixel 2 XL is using a combination of OIS, physical stabilization, and EIS, which is electronic stabilization. So let me know how y'all feel the stabilization on the Pixel 2 XL cameras are. Alright, now let's go into an exposure test. So let's pan down to the ground here. And we're going to pan up and out to the water heater in the distance here, which has started heating up the pool. And we're going to do this 3 times. And when we test exposure, we want a nice even transition from the darker areas to the lighter areas with minimal exposure blowout, okay? So let's see how these cameras perform. And if it does blow out, we want it to recover as quickly and as evenly as possible. So here we go. Starting down on the pool deck. Going up and out to the water heater. Oh yeah, that image darkened up really quick. So that's 1, coming back down. But it lightens up pretty evenly, so that's not bad. Here's number 2. And here's number 3. A little bit of a struggle there, exposing for the proper color of the pool deck here. As y'all can see, if I pan down just right, that's the actual color of the pool deck. It's like an off eggshell brown with white trim. But you can see if I pan further down, the cameras want to kind of whiten out everything. But a little bit of an exposure struggle, but not bad. All right, so that was 3 on the exposure test. Now let's go into the focusing test. Now the Pixel 2 XL has continuous autofocus as well as tap to focus, and we're going to test out both of those. We're going to start out with the continuous autofocus first. So we're going to let the camera try and do all of the work, and y'all let me know how y'all feel it performs. So we're going to pick 3 focal points. We're going to use the water heater again. We're going to use the gas can off to my right here. All right. And then we're going to use the tree off to my off to the center right here. So those tree leaves in the back, that's going to be 3. The gas can is going to be focus point 2, and then the water heater is going to be focus point 1. So let's see how the camera performs. So starting off at number 1, it looks like it's in frame. All right, let's go to 2. That also looks like it's in frame. And now let's go to 3. All right, let's go back to 1. Let's go to 3. And let's go to 2. Okay, let's go to 3. And let's go to 2. And let's go back to 1. Last time, 1, 2, and 3. Not bad, not bad. The camera, in my opinion, tends to want to expose for a darker image when you let it do it by itself. Let's see how the tap to focus goes with the same 3 focal points. So tap, locked up. Now when you use the tap to focus, it adjusts for the proper exposure, in my opinion. And that focusing speed was really quick. So going over to 2, tap on the gas can, locked up there, okay? And going over to the tree, tap, locked up. That was really quick. One more time, pool heater, tap, locked up, gas can, tap, locked up, and tree, tap, locked up. So not bad at all. And then, as I said earlier, we could also adjust for the exposure manually. So if I wanted to physically dial in the image to its best extent, in my opinion, it'll be right about here, and then we can lock it. So we can lock the exposure, then we can lock the focus, and y'all can see this looks pretty good. Now I kind of overexposed the background a little bit, but the actual focus points are exposed perfectly here. So this looks pretty good, and this is using manual focus and manual exposure, so not bad. And then if I wanted to set it back to auto, I just have to tap anywhere on the screen to readjust it back to autofocus and auto exposure. So not bad at all. So now lastly, the last thing I want to test is the zoom. And one of the reasons why I like to test the zoom is because it gives us a good idea of the detail retention and the stabilization. Now, as I always say, I would never recommend zooming past 2 times unless you have a dedicated zoom sensor or a telephoto sensor. But because you don't, I would recommend you stay at 2 times zoom. Okay? So now this whole video so far has been done at no zoom. Alright? And now we're going to get ready to go ahead and zoom in all the way up to the maximum focal range. Alright, which is 3 times on the pixel. So we're going to start with 1.5 times here. So let's tap. Get your zoom wheel to come up. And we're going to go up to 1.5 times. And this is 1.5 times zoom. Alright. Now the color here looks good. The detail looks good. But watch what happens as we zoom in more and more. We're going to start to notice the image get a lot more shakier, and we're going to lose a lot of detail in whatever we try to focus on. So watch this. Let's go up to 2 times zoom now. Alright, so 2 times zoom right here. Now you can see the color science still looks good there. Alright, and this is why I recommend 2 times being the maximum you go, because as we zoom in more than this, we're going to lose a lot of detail. And notice how much more shakier the image has become. Alright, so let's go up to 2.5 times. 2.5 times right here. Now notice how much more pixelated the image has gotten here. Okay? But the color science overall still seems pretty good. But look at the leaves as we try to focus on them. That's looking really pixelated as I look through the viewfinder here. Hopefully the camera and the software tries to clean it up a little bit in post. But we're going to see what's going to happen. Alright, now let's max it out. So 3 times digital zoom is all we got here. And again, notice how pixelated the leaves are. Check out that stabilization. Alright, okay, so let's zoom back out now. So this has been another camera test, testing out the rear-facing 12 megapixel camera on the Pixel 2 XL, and yet again, this was in 1080p at 60 FPS. So let me know what y'all think. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to run inside and we're going to do some more testing indoor, daytime, low light. So I'll be right back with some more tests for you guys and gals. I'll see y'all in a second. Alright y'all, and so now I'm recording indoors, and this is indoors, daytime, low light. And once again, we're going to try and get this whole camera test done in one take and in one shot. So now we're once again testing out the rear-facing 12 megapixel camera on the Pixel 2 XL, and this is also being recorded in 1080p at 30 FPS. Well, not 30 FPS, 60 FPS, my mistake, with no external audio hooked up. Now, I decided that I wanted to record this portion of the video in portrait mode orientation. So I actually ran out to the garage, I got my newer R rig, and I set it all up here because the newer R rig that I reviewed a long time ago, it lets me record video in landscape mode orientation and portrait mode orientation, and it also lets me gain the ability to mount up external lights, external microphones, so on and so forth. So I was like, you know what, it was a little bit heavy to record handheld, so I was like, let me go grab one of my favorite rigs and we'll do this portrait mode style video. Alright, so real quick vlog style test with the rear facing 12 megapixel camera here. Now what I want to do is we're going to walk over to my desk, which is a mess, and we're going to spin everything around and give y'all a rear facing camera test. And also, because I'm walking over to my desk here, this will give y'all a nice stabilization test. Alright, so let's get started. Jump off the bed with my short self. Yes, I'm very short. I'm only 5'5". Be short out here. So let's walk it over to the desk now. Got the shades angled up real good, so we'll leave that how it is. Alright. Okay. Pull this chair out real fast. Alright, so now we're sitting down. Let's go ahead and spin this around. Alright. Angle that down here. Let's pull this out. Oh, wow. Actually, we got to back up a little bit. Alright. Okay, look at that. So now let me adjust the exposure because it's kind of dark. So let me adjust that. Let's brighten that up. Let me adjust the focus. Alright, and let's lock it in. Alright. So now this is a rear facing camera test in the traditional reviewer style setup here. Alright. So what do y'all think? What do y'all think of the focus? What do you think of the exposure? Let's do some focusing tests real quick. Got my S6 active right here. Alright, let's check out the focus speeds on this. Let's take it out. Put it back in. Take it out. And put it back in. Alright, not bad. Now let me move my phone stand out of the way real quick. Let's check out the detail on the keyboard. Not bad. A little bit overexposed. Let me try and adjust that. Change focus points here. And then let's dial in the exposure to the proper color. Let's lock the exposure and let's lock the focus. Alright, so that actually looks really good. Pan this over. And pan that over. Alright. And if y'all were wondering how I set that up so quickly, the newer R rig that I told y'all that we're using here, it has mounting points on the top and the bottom. Okay? And that's top and bottom in portrait mode orientation or landscape mode orientation. So I can just as easily mount this up to any one of my tripod setups over here. So y'all can see these are two of my favorite go-to setups here, but we have a few tripods that we don't use that I store in the garage. That's what we're using here. So that's my that's my gimbal there with my favorite mini Manfrotto tripod on it, and then this is the extender pole and tripod that I did a review on a long time ago. And then that's my Tyrian smartphone mount. So with this newer R rig, if I wanted to, I could pop it off of this tripod that I'm using and pop it onto there and then use that in either portrait mode or landscape mode. Anyways, just wanted to show y'all that real quick. Let me know what y'all think of this indoor daytime low light camera test on the Pixel 2 XL's rear facing camera. Alright, now I promise y'all we're probably not going to do any more portrait mode footage after this. So we're just going to have regular landscape mode footage after this. But I figured I just wanted to mix up the camera test a little bit and, you know, give y'all a different perspective on things. It's always good to change your perspective on things. It will give you a new outlook on life, so to speak. So now a little bit later on, we're going to redo this same test in landscape mode orientation, and we're going to do it in nighttime artificial lighting here. Alright, so I'll be right back with the next test. I'll see y'all in a second. Alright everyone, so now we are back in, and once again we're testing out the rear facing camera on the Pixel 2 XL, and this is also being recorded in 1080p at 60 FPS using the rear-facing 12 megapixel camera and the onboard microphones on the Pixel 2 XL. Okay, so y'all let me know what you think of the overall video, the video quality, and the overall audio quality down below in the comments. As always, all feedback is welcome. So here we are, wrapping up the end of the 1080p 60 test. So this is the nighttime artificial lighting test, and we're starting off with a vlog style video here. And similar to the rest of the videos in this camera test, we're going to try and do everything all in one take. Alright, so starting off here, we just got a stationary vlog style video with the rear facing camera. And then we're going to spin everything around and give y'all a traditional reviewer setup with the rear facing camera. And then we're going to wrap this video up. Alright, so let me know what y'all think of this. How is the Pixel 2 XL's cameras performing with the focus, the exposure, the detail, especially in this lower light artificial lighting scenario? Let me know. Now let's go ahead and spin everything around and continue the test. Alright. Okay. So get everything angled up here. And just so y'all can see, it is indeed nighttime here. So let me show y'all that. So we ain't got no outside light. And if we pan up, y'all can see the only thing we have lighting up the scene is my overhead room light here. Okay. Just for verification purposes, because we're all about keeping it straight 100 around here. Alright. Now let's angle everything up in the traditional reviewer style approach here. So let me put this down. Get this straight on. Right about there. And now let's angle everything down. Bam, that's perfect. Right there. Okay, good stuff. Let me back up just a little bit. Boom, and that's perfect. Alright, so how do y'all feel the Pixel 2 XL cameras are performing here? Now I could tell y'all, looking through the viewfinder, it's kind of a little darker than the actual scene is. Okay, the camera is trying to really boost the saturation on this table. Now this is like I want to say it's like an oak wood. It's not really as bright as what y'all are seeing in the video. So one thing that I can do to fix that is we could tap to get the focus, and we can adjust the exposure and get it to its right color here. So boom, right there. And then I can lock the, oops, didn't mean to touch that. Let's put that back. Good, and then I can lock the exposure, and I can lock the focus. Alright, so now I would say the table color is about right. Okay, and then if I want to set it back to auto, we just tap anywhere on the screen to unlock it and set it back to auto. Alright, so good stuff there. Now let's go ahead and test out the focusing speeds with a few different devices here. Y'all can see, got my S6 active right here. Boom. And I also got my S7 active right here off to the side. Boom. So let's see how the Pixel 2 XL cameras perform. Let's start with the S6 active here, putting it in. It's definitely struggling with the focus in this lower lighting scenario. Taking it out, putting it back in. You can see these darker colors are definitely a little bit of a struggle for this camera without adequate lighting. Alright, one more time. Okay, now let's put in a different subject here. A little bit of a brighter subject. Let's see how the camera performs. So S7 active. Again, struggling with the focus. Let's try and assist it a little bit. Okay, boom. So it does need a little bit of an assist. As you can see, once we assist it, it actually does pretty good. So I can read that text right there. We're definitely picking up the pattern from the back of the S7 active. This is looking pretty good. Let's take it out. Having some trouble refocusing on the keyboard, so let's assist it. And the focus locks up pretty quickly. So the autofocus definitely struggles in lower lighting scenarios, okay? But with a little bit of assistance, it does a pretty good job. Let me know what y'all think of the detail on the keys here, alright? And let's test the device one more time. So bringing it back in. Definitely struggling, and then it locked focus on its own that time. So not bad. Not bad at all. Alright. Alright. Okay. Real quick nighttime artificial lighting test with the Pixel 2 XL cameras. And once again, this was in 1080p at 60 FPS. Alright? Now what I'm going to do is a little bit later on this week, we're going to wrap the video up with some 4K samples. So y'all let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of the photo performance. Let me know what you think of the video performance. And let me know what you think of the audio performance, all down below in the comments. Alright? Alright, let's go ahead and cut to the next test. Alright, how's everybody doing today? Back again with another camera test for you guys and gals. And today we're getting into our final set of camera tests, testing out the cameras on the Pixel 2 XL, and these camera clips will be recorded in 4K at 30 FPS with no external microphone hooked up. So please let me know what y'all think of the overall video quality, audio quality, and the overall stabilization down below in the comments. As always, all feedback is appreciated. And jumping right into the test, we're starting off with some nice vlog style footage. Now, as I've been doing throughout this camera test, I'm trying to record everything all in one take, and then we're just gonna throw up the raw untouched footage for y'all. The most I'm gonna do is edit everything together so y'all can see it. And as I always do with these big camera reviews, I'll have timestamps down below in the description so y'all can jump around to the different parts of the video that you'd like to know more about. So that being said, here's your real quick vlog style clip. Now let's go ahead and spin the cameras around and jump directly into the testing. And one thing that I want to point out and make sure y'all remember is this last set of 4K tests is being done as quick as possible, because when you record in 4K, you only get to record 11 minutes at a time with the Pixel 2 XL's cameras. So hopefully we can get this all done under 11 minutes. If not, this is going to be split up into 2 different cuts. So let's see what happens. Let's go. Alright, so spinning everything around and jumping straight into the panning test so we can test out the overall stabilization. And remember, with your panning test, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. So we're going to pan right from here, from the Jetta here, all the way through to the edge of the shed right here where you can see the tree. And we're going to go back. We're going to do this 3 times. So that was 1. Here we go with number 2. Alright. And then here we go with number 3. Bam. Okay. 1 more just for good measure. I feel like that was kind of quick. Boom. Alright, and now let's go directly into the exposure testing. So we're going to pan down to the ground, and as I always say with the exposure testing, we're going to transition from the darker areas of the image to the lighter areas of the image. And what we're looking for is no exposure blowout. And if the camera does blow out, we want it to recover as quickly and as evenly as possible. So let's go. We're going to do this 3 times as well. So we're going to pan up and out and down 3 times and see how the cameras perform. Here we go. So out of the shade we go. Up, focusing on the boat. And this is 1. And y'all can see I am sitting in the shade, but everything that I'm recording for y'all, for the most part, is in direct sunlight. And it is beautiful out here today. It's a beautiful 84 degrees. The temperature is just perfect. We got a nice breeze going. This is beautiful weather, and I'm always thankful for beautiful weather. So going down, coming back up. 2, looking good. Going down, coming back up. 3, looking good. Alright, so y'all let me know what you think of the exposure test. Now we're going to get into the focusing test, and as I always do, we're going to test out the continuous autofocus and the tap to focus. And as y'all can see, we got 3 beautiful cars. Well, not that one. That one got kind of beat up. We got 3 beautiful cars here for the most part, and a fresh boat. Well, not so fresh. It does need a wash. And we're going to use these as our focal subjects today. Starting off with the continuous autofocus, that lets the camera and the software do all the work. Y'all let me know if the camera is keeping everything in focus, and then we're going to go directly into the tap to focus. We're going to do these 3 times each. So here we go. Focus on the car right there. Nice little forward right there. Coming over to the boat. Boom. Going over to the Jetta. Boom. Alright, that's 1. Going back over to the Ford. Boom. Coming over to the boat. Boom. Coming back over to the Jetta. Boom. One more time. Ford. Boom. Boat. Boom. Jetta. Boom. Alright. Now, switching up my grip so we can do tap to focus. Let's switch up focal points. Let's use the junction box. Tap. Boom. Focus is crisp. Boat. Tap. Boom. Again, super quick. Car. Tap. Boom. Super quick focus. One more time. Junction box. Tap. Boom. Yes. Boat. Tap. Boom. Yes. Car. Tap. Boom. Yes. And you know, I would expect nothing less because we're out here in what is essentially perfect lighting. So this is where you get to see the camera perform at its best. All right. So yeah, good stuff with the focusing speeds. Now, lastly, I want to test out the zoom. So what we're going to do is I'm going to zoom in on that junction box that's way out there in the distance, and y'all could check out the zoom, the detail retention, and the stabilization. Let's go. So let's tap, get the focus, take it up to 1.5 times zoom. Boom. What do y'all think? That actually looks pretty good. The color looks pretty good. The detail looks decent. And the stabilization looks good. Alright, 2 times. 2 times zoom right here. You can see we've lost a noticeable amount of color. The image has gotten a little bit darker, but the stabilization is good and the detail is okay. Alright. Now 2.5 times zoom. And here we are, 2.5 times zoom. Notice the noticeable loss in detail. Notice the little bit of shake y'all are seeing. You notice how the camera feels like it's kind of bubbly, it's kind of bouncing. Yeah, this is why I like to do the zoom test, because it essentially tests the detail retention and the stabilization. All right. So now let's go up to maximum zoom, 3 times zoom on the Pixel 2 XL. And again, look at the leaves. Look at the tree. Look at the sky. Notice all the detail that got lost. Notice the stabilization. What do you think? All right, let's zoom out now. Okay, so real quick camera test because I'm trying to stay under 11 minutes. Now, closing thoughts on these cameras. All in all, I have to say these are some really good cameras. In terms of the software, I have to say the user interface is extremely good and extremely user-friendly. It's really easy to just be able to pick up this camera and this device and feel extremely comfortable using it after just basically a few minutes. That being said, I'm not a big fan of the fact that Google has decided to get rid of certain features or bury certain features in the submenu of the camera interface. And I'm not happy with that because as time goes on, these devices seem to get more and more expensive. So if you want to pick up a device right when it comes out, you're going to pay some pretty serious chunks of change for it. Unless you're patient like myself and you're okay waiting for those prices to drop to where it's absolutely nothing, I can't really agree with the fact that as things get more expensive, companies think it's okay to get rid of features and things of that nature. That's not how that's supposed to work. The more expensive something is, you would expect it to have all the bells and whistles, because as always, you would rather have something and not need it than need something and not have it. Well, that's the philosophy that I like to take. Okay? But other than that, I have to say these cameras are pretty good. the overall photo quality and performance is pretty good. The edge detection for the portraits is pretty good. It's got nice little edge cutouts, and the software blur is on point, I must say. And you know, surprisingly, the video performance was better than I was expecting. You know, I kind of went into this with really high expectations because a lot of my friends and family that have Pixels say the video performance is not the best. So, you know, I like to judge things for myself, but, you know, I was hoping for really good video performance, and I gotta say, I was not let down. The video performance on this was really good. And then the next thing, the audio capture capability was also really good as well, because again, you don't have a 3.5mm headphone jack, so you're kind of forced to use the onboard audio, or you're forced to live that hashtag dongle lifestyle, and I refuse to live that dongle lifestyle. So the fact that the audio capture capabilities on the Pixel 2 XL were as good as they are, I was pleasantly surprised. So overall, I gotta say the cameras, the software, the video, the audio on this device is really good. Alright, I hope y'all enjoyed all of this coverage, and y'all stay tuned because my full review is gonna be out real soon. I hope everyone has a great day, and I will catch you guys and gals in my next video. Have a good one, everybody. Peace. We out of here.